तो भाई लोग मेरी हो गई है फेरी मिस, और अब मैंने एक हॉस्टल में रूम लिया है और मेरे टायर लग गया यहाँ पे कर्व पे, फट गया पीछे वाला। और वो मैंने इंश्योरेंस ले रखी है, देखते हैं क्या होता है। अभी के लिए तो ऐसा हो गया है। भाई होटल किधर है? हमारा डॉल ये लॉकर मिलता है सामान रखने के लिए। लॉक वगैरह अपना खुद का लेके आइए, नहीं तो खरीदिए। टॉवल भी अच्छा सोचा है। गाड़ी तो ले गए वो, अब मैं टैक्सी की वेट कर रहा हूँ। मुझे ऑफिस लेके जाए उनके, और दूसरी गाड़ी मिलेगी। मेरा सामान आधा घंटा हो गया मुझे वेट करते हुए। देखते हैं कितनी देर और लगेगी। बारिश हो रही है तो होटल भी नहीं जा सकता वापस। This is a new car. They took 240 euros for roadside assistance. I had insurance, but still. This is it for now. Full tank. Okay. Where now? क्या सुंदर एरिया है। बहुत सुंदर एरिया है, सारे घर सब। The entrance to Park Güel, one of the entrance, and we are waiting for our tour to start. Let's hope so.
Lasting 1918 and 1918 the year that usually we die. So for 40 years they worked together. This was just one of the projects and which stays alive. And do you have any idea about what this parkway was supposed to be? Have you maybe read or listened anything about it? Not really? Subdivision, a housing compound, a residential neighborhood. Yes, you're right in part. Because this was to be a place intended for well-off families, for the bourgeois of the time, not for workers, not for workers. Despite many times has been said that the inspiration for this place were the British garden cities. No. The garden cities were created for workers, and this was to be a place for well-off families. So the approach was to be totally different. But hold on a second, because I'm telling you that this was to be a housing compound for 60 families, well, for well-off families, with only 6 in this park. Have a look around. Can you see a house?
No.
No, something went south, something went wrong. They started the project the year 1900, 1900 sharp, and the plan was to divide this estate in 60 little land plots, 60 small land plots, to be sold to 60 different families in order they could build their own houses. By 1914, they already had abandoned the whole plan. Well, mostly because the lack of commercial success. During those 40 years, just the land plots were sold, and just a couple of houses were built, just a couple. And it was even tricky, because one of those houses was to be the model home, the pilot house. So let's say that only one common house was ever built. But why never worked out? Why it was a fail? We cannot explain by just one reason. I mean, there were several factors that explain this failure. But if I have to give you just one reason, a single one, was because this estate was really far away from the old town, from the old village. I'm not sure, well actually I didn't know who had the right here this afternoon, but I'm sure that you have noticed that the streets to get up here are very, 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 very steep. Imagine all those streets 100 years ago when they were original, without any pavement on top, muddy after raining, with no public transportation to get here. Allowed me to say that it was a bit less than a nightmare to get to this estate. And on the other hand, there were other areas with similar conditions but close much closer to the old town. So that's why I never worked out, or at least that was the main reason why. But by then, 1914, both Gaudi, the architect, and Wade, the patron, both were living here. In a few minutes, we're going to see the houses where they live. And finally, to end the introduction, we'll start walking a bit. In 1922, the whole estate was sold to the City Hall, to the Council, and back in 1926 was finally opened as a public park. Totally open, totally public. And somehow has been ever since. Somehow, because since 2013, some 11 years ago, the City Hall has been selling tickets to walk in to visit, as you all know perfectly by now. But before 2013, this was a public park. It was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without any kind of restriction. But since then, we have to be, well, if you live in Barcelona city, it doesn't matter where, but Barcelona, you can prove it, you still have a chance of walking for free. But if you live in the town, in the city, in the village next to Barcelona, you pay the same. And the free access is just for Barcelona citizens who are already paying taxes to the city. Well, I don't know, do you have any questions this far after this little introduction? I'm sorry, I have to be all those pine trees were long gone after the phylloxera. Have you ever listened about the phylloxera? The little parasite that came from America and killed almost all the vineyards in Europe? Well, the vineyards is got 3 cows and a few caterpillars. And the whole estate is 18 hectares altogether, 18 hectares, some 45 acres, let's say 20 people established at the mega ground. So it's a small one at the next sheet. And the plan is that the five will be those one plots to
인사했네. 아, 영어
So these are Baidus because they were built for gas between wishes.
Today, you're maybe noticing a bit of concern about this hanging stones all over the ceiling. Don't worry about that, don't worry about it. The last accident here was more than a month ago. Should be safe, I think.
Yes.
There was such a thing as an accident. with everything. Just keep in mind, as long as we are down here, that the main point in building this spider was just to provide a track to the carriages to run on top. So let's say that the gallery down here, the whole gallery, was collateral. Was not the point at all, but anyway, here it is. And now we wanted to make it look as a natural cave, as a real cave. That's why now you can see all these hanging stones, which are supposed to look like these stalactites of a real cave, stalactites. Now, have a look also to the shape of the gallery, the shape of it. And it's not carved opposite at all, but all these outer columns and the outer rocks are not straight at all. I mean, all of them lean a bit, feel a bit inwards, and have a bit of inclination. And this is mostly because this viaduct was not a draw on the blueprint. What God used to calculate the Lapa belt and the Polish tractor was a polyfunicular hanging model, an upside down polyfunicular hanging model, using catenary arches, parabolic arches, using gravity. And gravity, that was the base of the whole thing. Now there was building the whole model of the skeleton, the skeleton of the viaduct, I would say the skeleton of the viaduct, upside down, using the strings, chains, ropes, wires, and whatever. And he was also hanging little weights from those arches. And all those little weights hanging down there, it's just playing the part of the weight of the outer structure, like simulating the loads of the outer structure. And let's say that the weight that God was setting those weights was generating this linen column. So yes, he went them like this for a reason. But let me explain it to you the same way that he used to. Gaudi used to use his own walking stick and his cane and to talk about columns. Have a cane, I have this instead, but we'll do the same. Imagine that you have just that. A cane or a walking stick and you set it like this, next to you, parallel to you, and totally vertical. And then you just try to lean on it. What's going to happen? It won't hold you, and it won't be stable, it will bend. But if instead of setting the cane like this, you just set it with a few degrees of inclination, and then you lean again on it, it's going to hold you better. Much better. It's the same idea. Thanks to these few degrees of inclination, all these columns are much better at accepting the other weight, and with less material in thinner columns, he was able of holding the same. So let's say to summarize, that this is the optimal shape, size, and inclination to hold these exact weights with the minimum material possible at the optimal shape. And all these calculations were coming out from those handy models. Gaudi was practically capable of doing the mathematical calculations and doing the blueprints and all that stuff, because yes, he was an architect. He had studied architecture, but he very much rather had to work with this technique, which by the way was not of his own invention. The first notice, the first time we know about of an architect using handy models is from the 17th century. It was a British one, Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke used it to build several things, but one that probably you will know about, the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Once the church was built after the fire, 1666, and the dome was calculated by Robert Hooke with a handy model. So Gaudi was just using it, but it was not of his own invention. Have you already been in La Sagrada Familia? Yes. No, but no is not an option. I mean, the answer to this question can be yes or not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right, good. Maybe not this time, maybe the next. But no is totally out of the table. Well, if you have the time or the chance to visit the Sagrada Familia, don't forget to walk down into the basement, down there where the museum is. Because if you already have been there and you have the time to visit it, I'm sure that you already have seen many tiny models, many comments and explanations about how Gaudi used to use it to work with this technique. Oh, not just that museum, also the 10th floor of the Villa House, La Pedrera. The 10th floor of that building was built with a row of catenary arches, and the calculations were done the same way. So again, that was the way that Gaudi had to work. Well, I'm talking a lot, and I'm not checking with you if you have doubts or questions. Do you have any?
No.
Not yet. Find me at any social net or anything like that.
Okay.
If it's just for personal use.
Okay.
Well, as we wait for everybody else to come down, let me know, where are you from?
India.
India. California? Taiwan. Out here, I ask you where I'm from? Australia is the country. England? Saudi Arabia? And Saudi Arabia. England? But it doesn't matter. This is state of the 1.5 kilometers away, but these are the same. And you have the forest, the sea, and the mountain. No, they choose this spot because it was available, because the time trees were no more here, and was maximized what they need.
My country doesn't have any spinach molds.
There are the way to manage big ones and to eat out. And if we all you can kill a lot of things. That was obviously a gout. But if you check it there, you're going to see that on top of the hill, get a cut. You see that?
Mhm.
The others first planner idea was to the church on top of that hill. Church with the capital, because the estimated population of the town was around 300 inhabitants, 300, coming to get church beyond the town. So this plan was to build a church on top of the hill. By 1914, one building.
The Park Güel. Güel is not Güel, it's a Cantonese word.
And this time this one is just a retaining wall. Just that, a retaining wall. To keep this wall in place. There's something, there's always something else, something else. All the backgrounds here, all of them are able to look like families.
So the mosaic in these snake-like benches are not by Gaudi, they're by some other artist. This is to keep you not wet, and this is to keep your back extra straight when you sit. So that you have good posture, and that's what he was thinking about in 1914. Gaudi. So these are the gargoyles.
There it happens. Well, actually, as we walk downstairs now, you're going to see the outside of the back seat. And on this side, the pattern are not as random as in the inside. I mean, there are more clear patterns here. You're going to see some bats, some butterflies, some crabs, some scales, and some mansions that could be obvious. You can see also the gargoyles. That was on you now, those like that.
So this is supposed to be a marketplace.
Let's just take the photos. Now these pavilions. Do you see them? You're good enough. And these pavilions. This is precisely I'm not really sure about what's the difference between a house and a pavilion, but the Golden Valley has this pavilion as a two houses, and the inspiration for that came from the children's fairy tale. And you guys which one?
Alice in Wonderland.
But all talk, what about that? What was you thinking of?
I do it drive by. I just want to give it cigar. I was just.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. And just keep going. Yep. Exactly. I'm not going.
We exited the park. Now we're moving back towards the parking. My internet is not working properly, so I don't know. Maybe. But the houses here are like really extraordinary. The architecture, I've never seen this architecture before. It's really something. Says tourism kills city. I don't know about that. Choosing.